advertising background. So my life is 24/7 digital, and journaling is a way for me to escape that. So I guess you could say it's the yin and yang, you know, digital and analog, right? So specifically, I am a journaler, but recently I got into scrapbook journaling, which I will explain to you a little bit more about what it's about. But I want to touch a little bit on my journey, how I started journaling. So when I was a child, I was a very quiet, kind of withdrawn child, and my parents were concerned, and they sent me to a psychiatrist. I remember her name, Auntie Peggy in Singapore. And Auntie Peggy said, why don't you start writing letters to your parents if you can't express yourself? So we had little paper bags on our doorknobs. It was like a mailbox. So even though my parents' room was directly across, we would write to each other. So whenever I had something on my mind, something troubling me, if I'm upset, and slowly that kind of nurtured and cultivated this love for writing. I realized that it was so therapeutic. It was like an escape, you know. So ever since then, I haven't stopped. I've always kept a journal, and now I've gone into a more expressive form of journal, which I will share with you. So journaling is such a positive habit. I managed to turn something painful into something beautiful, you know, and I hope that today, when you leave, you feel a little bit more inspired to start a journal. It doesn't have to be a travel journal. It can be any form of journaling. So speaking of that, there are so many different types of journaling. There is a gratitude journal, where you write maybe like 3 things you're grateful in the morning. At the end of the day, 3 things that happen that you feel blessed for, right? Then you can have a gardening journal. You can have a habit tracker if you're trying to lose weight, eat healthier, quit smoking. You can also have a food journal if you love recipes, and a religious journal, a journey to Hajj journal, right? So today I'm going to speak specifically about travel journaling. Why should you keep a travel journal? First and foremost, it's a great way to document your adventures beyond a selfie. Selfie, like anything digital, gets buried. You know, you take lots of photos, right? But you don't see it and you don't appreciate it as much. It is a priceless, tangible keepsake. Something you can hold, something you can pass on to your children or share with a friend. It keeps you company through your journey, especially if you're traveling alone. And it helps you slow down, pay attention to the details. Instead of looking at your phone all the time, when you write, you're actually having a conversation with yourself. It is also a form of creative expression, which is what scrapbooking is about. Incorporating visual elements into your journal. It's a way to anchor you, help you absorb all the information around you. When we travel, it's a small spot of sensory, right? There's so many things to absorb. You're constantly being bombarded with information. So writing helps you slow down and appreciate it. It deepens your reflections. So important for mental and emotional health. Last but not least, it's a vault of information. Write down important notes, dates, your boarding pass information, things like that. So that's the more utility part of a journal. At the end of the day, you will leave with a journal filled with memories that will last long after your trip has ended, right? The good news is there are absolutely no rules. There's no guideline how you journal. You can skip a page if you want to, you can fill a page, or you can just put one picture, right? Everyone has different styles. And my personal style, I'm a maximalist. I don't like empty corners. I fill up with, stickers and washi tapes, anything I can find, even a leaf in a park, I'll just like paste it in. But don't be intimidated. I know a lot of people think that, oh, you know, but I don't do calligraphy, I don't know where to get stickers. You don't have to follow my personal style. There are so many different examples out there. Someone famous, a friend of mine, Pui Chin, if anyone knows, she's a minimalist. So she sticks a photo, a little flower, she writes a few paragraphs, that's it. You can do bullet journaling, which is not paragraphs, it's just important, you know, highlights, keywords. So if you're not poetic, don't worry, you can still journal. You can also use more pictures and less words. You can keep it organized. So mine is a little bit like a bombardment of imagery and words, but you can also follow, you know, just line by line, a linear process. So this is an example of my travel journal, a recent one that I took a trip to Australia. This is an accordion. So later I brought a whole bunch of my journals, I'll pass it around. But you don't have to follow this format, this is just an experiment. So it opens up like this, and you can write it on both sides, so it's actually quite long. It's like that, see? It's really long. But this is over a course of a month. So I actually found it really challenging, like I had to save space and make sure I maximize, you know, and not run out of space before the journey has ended. So what do I put into my travel journal? I collect business cards from restaurants. I print out photos, so I have a portable printer, which I will talk about later. I went to an art gallery in Geelong featuring an artist called John Brusley. And in the brochure, it had this beautiful map. So I took the brochure back with me, cut it up, and I pasted it in. I met up with one of my boarding school mates, so I also printed a picture of us here. And one of my favorite features is we went to a vineyard in Tasmania and I found a bird feather. I stuck it in as well. So there's so many different things that you can incorporate into your travel journal. So having said that, so much work, right? It looks like so much work. What do I travel with? A lot of stuff. I brought some examples. So, pens. This, I travel, this is like, it's actually a makeup trolley. Yeah, and I fill it with stationery and I bring it to meetups and gatherings. So I organize this thing called Sunday Scribbles, where we have journal enthusiasts that comes together and we get excited over really geeky things like fountain pen and washi tapes and stickers, you know. So yes, this is actually a very small bag compared to them. Some of them really bring suitcases and we take over the whole cafe. And everyone will just come like, whoa, what are you doing? What's this? What's that? So actually journaling in public is a great way to meet people and to hopefully also influence other people to take it up. Right? It's not often that you see someone sitting in a cafe with scissors and glue sticks, right? Yes. So if you follow me on Instagram, SkyBambi, I announce whenever I have an upcoming meetup. So I've done one in Melbourne, in London. I had people fly in from Italy and Germany, and it was such a great, you know, it's so great to meet people who are like-minded and have the same passion. So as I said, I travel with a lot of stuff, right? Fountain pens, ink cartridges, because I write a lot, I run out of ink. Rubber stamps, ink pad, postal stamps, postcards, stickers, glue tape, even pre-made wax seals. So I'll make the wax seal at home so that when I travel, I can just stick it into the page. Yeah. So I'm going to just take a sip of water. I'm running a bit dry. Alright, so You don't have to travel with all this. I'll touch on the basic tools that you need later. Now back to the portable printer. I've brought two today. There's different designs, and you guys can try it later during the workshop. What it is a thermal inkless printer. So it prints in black and white, and you can print it on basically it's like receipts, right? But you can print it on different papers like stickers, transparent stickers, colorful papers. And what I love about it is it's useful beyond just scrapbook journaling. You can print out your boarding pass, you know, receipts. You can on the go print out maybe a picture you took at the park. You don't have to wait until you get home and you know, go to like a photo printing center, and like you'll never do it if you know, wait. And of course, if you want something more vibrant like colors, you can use Insight Polaroids. HP has like a portable photo printer. Those are a little bit more expensive because you need to buy the cartridges and things like that. So I highly recommend for Memo, which is this black and white printer. If you're just starting out on this, this is what I recommend. These are the basic essentials. Scissors, please don't check it. Please check it in to your luggage because they will confiscate it. True story. Paper clips, which I will explain why later. Pen, markers, glue tape, or a glue stick, either one. I actually recommend glue tape. It's just more compact, less messy. And of course, washi tapes. If you're not sure, you don't know what washi tapes are, it's basically decorative masking tapes. Okay? And of course, you need a journal. Please, don't forget a journal. So, with all these supplies, how do I personally travel with my supplies? Here are some friendly storage solutions. You can keep it in a small tin. You can keep it in an accordion file, which I also brought. And basically what it is, this is from Moleskine, a very famous stationery brand. I separate different themes or different colors or different pieces of paper into different compartments so that it's easier to journal on the go. Helps me to stay organized. I'm actually an organized freak. If you look at my stuff, like everything has its place. I don't like to like chuck things in the bag and like fumble around, you know. But of course, if you want to start basic, you don't want to buy like a accordion file, you can just use envelopes, empty envelopes, and just store it in. Now washi tapes, like I showed you, those are in rolls. It's not exactly the easiest thing to travel with. So these are the ways that you can travel light. You can wrap it around like a PVC or popsicle sticks. I actually use expired like membership cards, so I can just like wrap it around, it fits into my wallet, or yeah, it's super handy. So now that you have all your supplies, how do you actually journal on the go? Sometimes when we're traveling, it's really fast paced, right? You're constantly thinking what to do next. Here are some of my suggestions. You can find time to journal when you're commuting on the plane, right? Or you're waiting for the bus or the next train, you have some time. When you're walking through a park or you're having lunch on a park bench, take some time, just write a few notes. When you're visiting famous landmarks, that's really awesome if you enjoy sketching. You can really take it in and then pay attention to the details. And of course, when you're back in the hotel, you're about to wind down, you have some time to kind of digest the day that you just experienced. My personal favorite is the local bar or coffee shop. I love to journal over wine or a latte. Helps you unwind and also soak in the local culture around you. Please don't go to Starbucks. Starbucks is the same everywhere. Go to like a really quaint little, cafe. So these are some of the examples of places that I've journaled in when I'm waiting for my flight. I love the beach. I love journaling by the beach. There's just something about the ocean that really slows you down. When I was in Niseko, taking a break from skiing, the beautiful Alps in the background. Where was this? Gaia Island, I think. Yeah. Melbourne, they have really nice pubs, so I just sit there, watch the world go by, take my time to journal. And on the plane, I love journaling on the plane. Yeah, especially if you have 8 hours, you know, to Melbourne, or you have like 13 hours somewhere, it's the best time. You have no internet, so you're not distracted. It's just you and your journal. But of course, if journaling on the go is not for you, no worries, because you can also do it after your trip, you know. Although I do recommend that you start journaling while you're on your trip so that you don't lose all the little memories and the details that you experience. And you can also pre-plan your pages. So for example, if you want to like lug all your pens and your scissors and your glue sticks and whatnot, you can design it before you leave for your trip. So if I know that I'm going on a trip and I don't really have much time to journal, especially if it's a work trip, I will pre-plan it so that when I have time, I'll take 15 minutes and I'll write and it's already done. So here are some quick tips to get you started today. So like I touched on my accordion travel notebook. Here are some stuff that you can incorporate into your journal. Coasters, business cards, receipts from restaurants, fallen leaf from the park, sentimental, travel stops, boarding tickets, hotel stationery. I actually stole some of the Sheraton stationery. Polaroid pictures, maps. You don't really need to spend much to decorate your journal. There's a lot of little things that you can collect along the way. Even brochures, like a tour of something. You might not go on the tour, but has a beautiful picture of the Big Ben in London, for example. You can just cut it out, paste it in. So these are my personal, my own style and process of how I decorate my journal. You can create dividers with papers or postcards, so you create more surface to write on. You can decorate the corners as well. Don't be afraid to tear things out, stick it in. You know, it's really like a blank canvas, so you just let your creativity flow. You can create pockets within the pages to hold keepsakes. So you might not want to tie down, like you don't want to glue your boarding pass onto the page. You can create a little pocket so that it's kind of interactive. You can explore it. When you revisit it, there's layers to go through, you know. And of course, when you paste like photos, it instantly brings your journal to life. Flip cards again. So yeah, you can create not just dividers, you can flip it up, you can add more things. And my personal favorite, I love to tear up my old magazines, newspapers, and books. Especially if it's a book that I don't read anymore, but I love like little quotes from it, I'll tear it out. For example, this one, it says, "Turn difficulties into learning opportunities." It's actually from a book. So I collect it along the way. Sometimes when I'm not journaling, I'm just flipping through, you know, different magazines. I'll just start tearing and curating it so that when I have time to sit down, I have like all this supplies in front of me. So how do you start? Well, the first step in journaling is just to begin. Pick up a pen, get a little notebook, and see where it brings you. You develop your own style, and along the way, it's a very self-reflective kind of experience that you can look back in many years to come. So life is a journey, and to embrace it, this is such a beautiful way to kind of curate all your experience together into this tangible thing. I really hope that you are inspired today to go home and try something. And I brought some supplies for everyone to try out. I don't have enough because I did not expect so many people to come, so thank you so much. And I have some props here. You can come up and have a look and ask me anything you want, and I'll walk around and guide you along the way. Before we do that though, I just want to say a big thank you to My Paper Projects, who has sponsored some of the stickers. We don't have enough for everyone, so you can just share it, cut some that you want, and pass it around. And of course, we wouldn't be here today without Datin Paduka Marina Mahathir, who created such an amazing platform and opportunity for all of us to connect. And I'm so humbled to be part of this, and I just want to pass you a little token of gratitude. Thank you. And if you don't know, Datin Paduka Marina Mahathir, wow, what a mouthful. She's also a journaling enthusiast. That's how she discovered what I do is on Instagram. So great. I mean, journaling is really something that cuts across all race, age, gender, and it is so beautiful how it connects us to one another. So yes, thank you so much. And I hope we have like a really fruitful hands-on session now. And I'll be walking around, so thank you!